Hello YouTubies, subscribe and thank you for watching this YouTube video. I've changed my religion a little bit, so that's why I'm wearing a hijab bow, and don't question my religion, bigots. Now I just want to talk about the 2020 episode ratings, which have been absolutely flying. They've been fantastic. I'm just looking at it right now, they just look absolutely fucking brilliant. The first episode we had 4.88 million. After, you know, the previous series that's something like 10 million. So it's already a fantastic fucking success. Then the consolidated was 6.7 million and 6.89 million for the full screens, which basically means nothing. But what I find interesting about these ratings is that it's the overnight figures, and then they have to count 7 days ahead of that. So when they get to that 6.7 million, it's actually 1 day plus 7. So they're being kind of misleading there and getting an extra day to get more rating points. That's very, very fucking sneaky. I like that. Cheeky little bastards. Anyway, as we can see, throughout the whole series, the ratings have been plummeting down. Now, all the fans of the show will say, "Oh, it's normal. You know, this always happens on television." Yeah, it goes up and down. Yeah, of course. You know, you never go get a top rating program with exactly the same views every single week, of course. But this show is definitely on a downward trend, and it's all Chibnall's fault. It really is. And it's the way he's been talking to fans. I mean, the way they talk to fans these days is absolutely bloody fucking ridiculous. I mean, for instance, saying, "We make the show we want to make." Yeah, after you force taxpayers to, no, it's not taxpayers, license payers to pay for your bloody fucking wages to produce crap. I'm not saying that every single episode was terrible, but it was pretty awful. It's a pretty awful series now anyway, because there's so much political trash in it. I mean, have a look at the last episode, episode 10, 3.78 million overnight figures. We've had that up to about 10 million at one point, but 3.78 million. You've lost, since you've come into power of this show, almost 7 million followers of Doctor Who. Now, doesn't that just say something to the BBC? Isn't that a finger from the fans to say, we're not going to support this anymore? And it's your own fault. You created this situation by mocking the fans, creating smear campaigns on the fans, but calling them racist and bigots, etc. And then suddenly you're seeing your show plummet to the ground. And I remember watching a video of you where you were saying how well you could actually produce the show when you were, what was it, 20 years old or something. And then we're seeing exactly the effect of your great ideas on the show by the ratings, which have been dropping like fucking... It's basically somebody falling off a fucking cliff and smashing their face on the bottom of the rocks. That's basically what this fucking is. It's incredible. You've done really, really well. You should be congratulating yourself. Now, as for Jodie, I've never been pleased with her being a doctor. I have said in a previous video, yeah, she's improved a little bit, okay? She's not brilliant, but she's improved. I mean, at least she's showing some emotions now. But then again, I got confused when watching it, because I probably need to have a look at it again. I wasn't sure if she said that it was all a distraction, so maybe the timeless child didn't exist. But of course, she did. He was also the Doctor, which is also ridiculous. So if that's the case, they've retconned the series. He's done irrevocable damage to this great franchise that once had tens of millions of fans and now has the ratings dropping like flies. But put it this way, if it goes on for 2021, the show is not going to exist. People are never going to tune back into it. So my opinion on this is, although I do like the idea, I'll be honest with you, I have said in previous videos years ago that they could actually alter the Doctor's history, but it needs to be done in a very, very delicate hand. You can't just retcon it completely by making the first person to be a black woman or something. I mean, it's too political, and it's not what people actually want to see. But I don't mind the idea of them saying there was a history before the first Doctor, and somehow being very creative and very careful about how to write that. You could say the Doctor had a previous life before he was a Doctor. So maybe he had there was a person before him, but it wasn't actually the Doctor. He was the Doctor at William Hartnell, but he wasn't a Doctor at this point. And he comes from a very ancient line of Gallifreyans. But they've not done that. What he's done is he's changed it, the fact that the Doctor is not even Time Lord, basically. He's not even Gallifreyan. So where's he from? From another universe? Who knows? But we do know that this is the form of thought with Doctor Who. It sort of writes itself going forward. So the history writes itself from the past going forward, which is kind of usual. But it's not the way it should be done, because I don't think fans are actually pleased with there being 12 other bloody fucking regenerations, or loads of them. And then you find out that he doesn't have a set of regenerations of, was it 12 or 13 or 50 or whatever. He has unlimited regenerations, and the Time Lords actually toned that down for him. Oh my god. It's just awful. The whole thing they've done with this show is hilarious. Even every single thing is political. They try to put as much political garbage in as possible so they could brainwash the children watching this show and the adults, and then claim they're not doing it, and then they claim later that they are actually doing it. But whatever, keep going, see if you can get this figure down to under 1 million next month. Would it be next year, or will you just wait a little bit and try to see if time actually mends this show? It won't. You need to change the production team, and you also need to change all the actors, including those ones that people love, like Graham. I'm not particularly that impressed with him, but I mean, he will eventually need to go too, because he's part of this system. He's part of the thing that's actually damaged this show. Anyway, thank you for watching. Goodbye for now. See you later.